All right, big picture of this 453 million plus 120 million in interest bond that Donald Trump has to put up by Monday, or Letitia James is going to go to the court and get access to collections and be able to take his property and start selling it. The first property she wants, is the one he loves the most, and it's his flagship on Wall Street. So that's number one. Number two, you've got to think about his last situation where he needed the $91 million for the E. Jean Carroll. He begged the court just like he's doing this time. He doesn't have it. He doesn't have it. Simple things. He's supposed to be a billionaire. He's supposed to be the guy that's going to handle everything himself from day one. He's going to end up paying all the bills, and he doesn't have to rely on anybody, and he can't be bought and sold because he's a billionaire and blah, 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 blah. All the other talking points of why he's such an awesome dude. Well, the bottom line is he doesn't have any of the things he pretended to have. He never has. That has been his scam since day one. So here we are, less than a week away from a $550 million, over a $500 million bond that is due. He is looking at the biggest collapse he had ever imagined, his worst nightmare coming true. It's exposed that he's been a fraud. It's exposed he's not a true billionaire, that he doesn't have the money. The truth is there. This debt that he owes at this moment, that is a ticking clock. He can't just produce this money because he doesn't have it. He is over-leveraged. He's the king of debt, and he has more debt than he has assets, which makes it really, really dangerous, because the emoluments clause was actually put together to prevent any type of influence possibilities over a presidential candidate. That's why it's so strict, and it has always been important to follow until Donald Trump got in office. That means a lot because there's a simple aggravation we all feel about people in politics and how they are worth so much money when their salary is only $175,000 a year or whatever. They're worth hundreds of millions, and that's corrupt, and it needs to stop. We all know this, and we all know why. The problem is we're always blaming it on the other side, but it is perfectly legal for Chubb Life. That is a Russian-based, Vladimir Putin-connected, oligarch-connected insurance company that Donald Trump had the current CEO as part of his cabinet while he was president, actually put up this money under protest by everyone, all the other decision makers, put up this money, and it's perfectly legal for Chubb to forgive the debt. It's perfectly legal. This particular fact was brought out in a Senate hearing a long time ago, or congressional hearing, sorry, when the CEOs were asked if it's legal for a company to give a loan to a candidate of $100 million, say, and set up a payment structure that begins after the election, and once that person is elected, they can actually have the loan forgiven. The company can say, you know what, we don't want to collect on that. Now, this insurance surety bond by Chubb Life has that option. If he gets elected president, God forbid, they can forgive the $91 million loan. This is a company that has Russian roots, deep Russian roots, having a $91 million chip to cash with someone who could be president of the United States. The bigger question is the over $500 million debt that's due by next week. And where is he going to get that? I think it's important for us to actually keep our eyes open, and if he does come up with the money, it's the right of the American people to know where he got the money, under what pretenses did he get the money, can the company like Chubb Life actually forgive that debt, or are they actually going to collect from him? Because that puts him in a position to be forced to have, to be influenced by these people, which we all know is probably already in place. So we have a presidential candidate, looking at a garage sale, fire sale on his most cherished properties beginning in less than a week. His Truth Social posts show how batshit crazy he's going right now. Like, literally, like post after post after post. Anybody who is still debating on voting for this man without insisting on seeing the facts of any of these situations, without insisting on seeing the indictment, seeing the evidence that convinced 4 grand juries that he's guilty beyond the shadow of a doubt, because that was their job, and they were Republicans and Democrats sitting in these grand juries. And now we're looking at the same man who has such a debt going into a presidential race. And there's some of you that are still debating voting for him. I don't know how much you need. I don't know what evidence you want. But if you can't see the dangers in this situation for sake of the American people and this country in general, and you don't want to waste the time it takes to actually look into this stuff, you need to understand this man owes $500 million by next week. And he doesn't have any equity to cover it. Politics or no politics, that says it all. Cut the political blindness. Stop looking at every single damn thing that comes up as fake news or just a conspiracy. Cut it out. Like, enough is enough. You're a big boy, you're a big girl. Care about this country, care about this. He owes $500 million by next week, whether you believe in why or not. He does. That's a fact. He's going to do some desperate things to get it. And we deserve to know why and where, if he does pull it off, which I think he will. But he will keep the sources of that masked by a fake company and everything else like he always has. It's a shell game, ladies and gentlemen. He is a stable genius at one point in this world and one point only, and that is being a con man. The problem is he has the wallets of very powerful people around this world, and he thinks when they help him out, it's because they love him. He doesn't realize they help him out because he's a tool in every way, shape, and form. He is a tool. The question is, who's handling the tool? It's not our country, and it's not the Republican voters either. Hate to break it to you. Just saying. Stay diligent, stay educated, and be kind. We are in this together, and we have to start working that way. We have to start thinking that way, and we have to start having communications with each other with that in mind. God bless.